Welcome to this episode of Ask the Guitar Coach. Here is our question for the day. I've tried several guitar teaching systems, but I don't seem to be making any progress. What can I do? Well, I can definitely understand your frustration. However, I must say that without knowing more information about your specific case, it's very difficult to tell you specifically what is going wrong. What I'm going to try to do is to give you 4 of the most usual reasons that this happens, that someone who's following different programs or has followed several different guitar teaching programs is not making progress. So let's get started. 4 different reasons. Reason number 1, and very usual, you are doing what is called program hopping, which means you're jumping from one program to the next without giving it enough time to work its magic and to get you better and develop your playing. Think of it like boiling an egg. It's like starting to cook the egg and then after 30 seconds saying, oh, it's not boiled yet, it doesn't work, and then stop boiling it. And then 2 or 3 days later, you go to another kitchen and you try to boil the egg again over there. And then after 30 seconds, it's not boiled yet, so you say, oh, this is not working, and you stop. Everything would be okay if you had let the egg boil for 5 minutes, however long it takes to boil an egg. Now, if you're doing this when you're following a guitar program, what happens is you will get the first materials, you might even get some feedback from your teacher, but you don't give it enough time to sink in. The solution for that is to do a good amount of research on the person or the program you're going to follow and then let it do its work for a few months. I would suggest an absolute minimum of 3 months, but 6 months would be a much better case. So, if you find yourself stopping a program after 2 or 3 weeks, this can definitely be the problem. You need to give it way more time. And let's move on to reason number 2. So problem number 2, you are only focusing on materials. Here's what I mean by that. When you start a new guitar teaching program, you're very excited about all the new stuff you're going to get. So you tend to focus on this new stuff and you focus much less on what is really important, what is going to really help you develop your playing, which is the feedback of the person who's coaching you. So this becomes almost a race between the student and the teacher, the student always asking for new exciting material and not really listening to the feedback of the coach on the things that the student already thinks he knows, but he's not performing very well. If this sounds like detail, it's not. It's actually one of the most usual and most important problems. People will always want the new and exciting thing and don't want to focus on the things that they're not doing really perfectly because they say, it's well enough. So this is reason number 2. Maybe you're just focusing on the materials, which will give you a little bit of excitement, but you're not focusing on the coaching feedback that is exactly the thing that's going to get you better. Problem number 3. You might have unrealistic expectations about your development, or more specifically, about your rate of development. And this is actually a very usual problem, especially with younger adults that try to develop their guitar playing. They seem to have the attitude that in 6 months they're going to be able to play like Steve Vai. Let me make this clear. No one is going to be able to start from a fairly beginner level, and no matter what, no matter who is coaching him, even if he manages to play 24 hours a day and not get any sleep at all, no matter what, there's no way that he's going to be able to play like Steve Vai in 6 months. This is not the way the human body works. This is not the way that the guitar technique development works. So if you think that just because you're going to have lessons with a good guitar teacher, or you're going to get coaching with a good guitar coach, you're going to be a professional virtuoso musician in 6 months, it's not going to happen. What is going to happen is in 6 months you're going to be quite better than you were before. And in another 6 months you're going to be even more better. And then in another 6 months you're going to be much better. And this will continue for pretty much, if possible, if you keep up your effort, it can continue almost forever. But if you have set an arbitrary limit of 6 months, and then you say 6 months have gone by and I'm not a professional player or a virtuoso player yet, then you're going to have a problem. The problem is not going to be with your actual playing. The problem is going to be with your expectations of your development rate. Moving on now to the last possible problem, actual probable problem, because there can be way more possible problems, and this is that your practice schedule might suck. It's actually quite unfortunate that several guitar teachers, even though they might be doing a really good job at teaching some materials, they're not offering high quality help on how to develop a practice schedule. It is a sad fact that while many guitar teachers are doing a very good job at teaching the required materials, however, they're not giving good advice or good processes on how a student should practice. Which is quite a big problem, because the student is now inundated with materials and he doesn't know how to put them in a specific order, how much time to spend on each one of them, how to develop his practice schedule, how many hours to practice, all these kind of things. Now, it's quite clear that this is not, I cannot give you a cookie cutter solution that's going to work for everybody. However, I have posted several videos in this channel that deal with the subject of developing a really good practice schedule. And I suggest you have a look at the playlist of the international edition of Ask the Guitar Coach and figure out which ones of them apply to you. I will actually try to post a view of those links down below in the description. So there you have it. 4 reasons why you might not be progressing fast enough, even though you're either taking lessons with a guitar teacher or you're following a guitar program online. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you on the next episode of Ask the Guitar Coach.